Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on Sam's Crafty Castle, and today I have a super exciting video because I was on Stamp Wars. This is the card I made on Stamp Wars Saturday night, and I had a really good time and it was a lot of fun, and I'm going to kind of walk you through what I'm doing and then we'll talk a little bit more about Stamp Wars. So, this is the stamp set we received for Stamp Wars, which is the Sensational Sunflower stamp set from Gina K Designs, because Gina K Designs was our sponsor for the episode. And I am going to stamp that kind of randomly all over the panel with the Gina K Designs embossing and watermark ink, because we're going to do some heat embossing. So you already saw me too. I did anti-static my paper with my little anti-static pad thing. And I'm going to just sort of randomly stamp this sunflower around. I was trying to get as much of the sunflower on as I could, and then I would just use the sort of tips of the leaves to fill in some of the edges. And then I'm going to use some white embossing powder to emboss it. Hello. And I'm going... And then that's where I'm going to stop. And I'm going to sidetrack off to Stamp Wars. And I just wanted to explain that part because it's really hard to see what I'm doing on camera. So it's because it's all white and it doesn't pick up well and the embossing ink is clear. So like it's hard to see in real life, let alone trying to pick it up on a camera. So that's how we're making our background panel. This is going to end up being our background. And then I'm going to ink blend some Marigold ink, which was also one of our Stamp Wars challenges. We had either the Marigold ink or the Marigold cardstock. I had the ink. Tracy and Nancy had the cardstock. And I am going to ink blend that Marigold ink over the top to make the background of this card. So Stamp Wars was Saturday, November 1st. It was my first ever live stream, which was super exciting. And it was really exciting to get to talk with Nancy and Tracy. I'm not going to spoil the sort of surprise. But I work with Nancy on things that are work-related for me. And if you go watch the video, you can find out more of why that is. So I've gotten to email with her and Instagram message with her and things quite a bit over the last couple years. And it was fun to sort of like get to actually talk with her and things on the live and before the live. So that was really exciting and really fun, and I had a really good time, and I learned a lot of things, crafting and non-crafting related. I guess all sort of really crafting related, considering the fact that I do this on YouTube. But Nancy did this really cool thing where she colored on the Marigold cardstock with her markers, which I don't think I've ever tried. I'm trying to remember. I know I color on colored cardstock with my colored pencils all the time. I don't know if I've ever tried it with my markers. So I feel like that is something I might need to try one of these days. And I thought that was a really good idea. And I said we had to use the Sensational Sunflower stamp set, and we had the Marigold sort of challenge, if you will. And then we also had to, received the Grateful Polyglaze and the Grateful and Shadow die set, because the Grateful and Shadow die set cuts out the polyglaze, so that's helpful. And we had to foil something. Like that was kind of the other challenge, if you will. But if you aren't familiar with Stamp Wars, they also tend to throw sabotages at you. So our sabotage was all three of us were coloring, because all of us chose to color in the like bigger sunflower bouquet, if you will, from this stamp set, and we were in the middle of coloring it, all of us, all three of us. And Nancy was like, and now the sabotage is to use your non-dominant hand. Which actually, to be fair, was not as difficult as I thought it would be. I was a little concerned at first, but I'm actually going to talk about this a little bit more once I get to the coloring on this video, because I do have a funny story from something that was happening in my head when that happened. But we did get that was a fun sort of little sabotage challenge. So now I am going to put the Marigold ink over this. I love this yellow. This is new. It's only been out for a couple weeks from when I'm like filming this video. You could be watching it years from now and it's been out forever. But This is a very pretty yellow. It's a really great addition, I think, to the Gina K Designs line. And I'm just going to ink blend that all over this background panel. So the thing when you do this sort of emboss resist technique is it does sort of initially stick to the embossing powder quite a bit. So I always take a paper towel when I'm done ink blending and run it over, and you can already see how much more those sunflowers are starting to show up. Now my heat embossing, and that's just so you can see how much ink I'm actually like getting off with this paper towel. It doesn't really stick to the embossing powder. The ink doesn't stick to the embossing powder, but it will just like sit on top of it. So once you wipe it off, it really makes the embossing shine. And I've had something I was saying and it left my brain, so maybe it'll come back to me. So now I have decided I was originally not gonna do this sunflower again. I wasn't gonna color it again, but I realized that the card design I had in my head was gonna need a little something extra. So I was like, okay, we will color the sunflower again. And plus, I didn't really talk about what I was doing coloring wise on Stamp Wars, so I was like, this way I can kind of talk more about what I was doing coloring wise because people were saying they really liked it. So, and I'll also tell my funny story about what happened during the sabotage because it's about to happen again. So I was just like minding my own business, coloring away, and then Nancy was like, okay, sabotage time, use your non-dominant hand. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, as I'm coloring with this exact marker, because this is why I think it's funny, because I actually forgot it happened when I was filming my follow-up video. So then I grabbed the same marker and then had the same problem. And then I was like, you know what? No, this gives me the opportunity to, like, tell my funny story. This marker is starting to run out of ink. It is so dry, and it feels so kind of uncomfortable to color with because it pulls so much because there's not, like, any ink in it. And I was, like, halfway through. There's 2 big sunflowers on, like, the big image in this stamp set. And I was halfway through the second sunflower when Nancy called the sabotage. And almost as soon as I switched the marker to my other hand and started coloring with it, I realized that it was running out of ink. And I was like, oh my gosh, really? Like, this could not be the worst timing. Like, Nancy has sabotaged me, and now I have started to sabotage myself because my marker is running out of ink, and this is not one that I have a refill for. So I was like, oh no, and I thought I was going to have to, like, try to find a different color in the middle of the live, and I was like, ugh. But luckily it survived, and obviously it got me through this flower too. So it was all good, but it was kind of a brief moment of like, oh no, I might have another problem here I have to fix, and just the timing made me laugh. So I did a really simple 3-color blend on here. This is a huge image, so you definitely could do more colors. I think the bigger the image, the bigger the floral, whatever, the more you can do colors. It just is easier. But I just did 3 on this one. And I think I did 3 on the other one too, on Stamp Wars too. Because I used the same, because I already had these markers out, so I used the exact same combination that I used for Stamp Wars, which I'm trying to get better at the habit of putting my Copic combinations in my description, or at least what colors I used if I don't like specify what combo is what. And I definitely forgot to write them down, and I'm not sure I remember what all of them are anymore, so I'm really sorry. I know the bad marker is E99, but that is all I know, and that's only because it's in my bad marker pile and I can see it. So, I believe it's 2 E's and 1 Y that I used, but that's about all I can remember. So Stamp Wars was really fun, and it was my first live stream. And we talked about Gina K products a lot, which was fun. And I, shared some information about myself, which, like I said, I'm not going to share it here. I'm going to make you watch the Stamp Wars replay if you want to find out. And also, before I forget, because I should have said this at the beginning, welcome to all of our new friends here at Sam's Crafty Castle, because we did get a bunch of new friends from Stamp Wars. So if you're here from Stamp Wars, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate y'all, and I'm hoping I can bring you some really cool cards and things in the next year, and you guys have a really good time. So I'm gonna take a little quick housekeeping minute here too while I color. To just say I am technically on a YouTube break right now for all of the new people that are here, and I haven't actually posted anything on YouTube, and I'm going to post a bigger video about this most likely and sharing more plans and stuff like the first weekend in January. But I am on a little bit of a hiatus. I'm coming out of my hiatus to do this little follow-up video really quick, and mostly because I was excited about it and I wanted to use that excitement to get something out. But I should be back by early January. I typically don't post videos the month of December because it's always just so crazy with the holiday times and things. But I am considering a few things possibly for December, so I'm still kind of trying to figure some stuff out. But I might come back before January. I don't know. Unsure right now. So I have some decisions and things and timing things and whatever to figure out. But I usually am posting videos all through November. But this year I just had some crazy life stuff going on over the summer, and it's just taken some time to sort through it, and that needed to be my priority over social media and YouTube, and things are starting to fall into place and settle down in my real life, so I am back to creating content off screen, but I just haven't been posting it and anything, so I'm just trying to build myself a little buffer and get a little head on videos for next year, so that hopefully maybe, I'll still take December off, but hopefully there's just less days that I miss in between. So yeah, I'm working on that right now. I will be back probably in January is what I'm thinking. Possibly the end of December. And we're just gonna see how it goes. But I know I've gotten all these subscribers, and it looks like I haven't posted anything in forever, and I don't want you guys to think that I just don't do my channel anymore or anything. I've just had to deal with real life things, because real life things always get in the way of crafting things. The other thing I want to talk about is Stamp Wars was my first... Oh, I want to talk about what I'm doing, and then I'm going to talk about this. So, I am coloring in the center of the sunflower, and I think centers of sunflowers can be really overwhelming to color in, because they have all those little, seeds or whatever. I don't know what they are, but they're all little circles on the inside. So I had taken a Kitten Clowder coloring class, and we had sunflowers, and she was like, don't try to color all that in because that's annoying. And she was like, just sort of draw scribbles and it'll look just as good. So that's what I do. I just draw scribbles, and it's so much less overwhelming. So we're going to finish up this card quick here, and I'm just going to basically glue everything together. This panel that I used was actually just a panel that I grabbed out of my scrap bin and didn't measure or anything. So it was a little bit weird of a layout on the card, so I had to trim it just to make it be a little bit more normal. I don't have the die set for this stamp set yet. I have to order it, but I cut this flower out on my scan and cut, just so you know that, how I cut that out. But I will be getting the die set for this. I just haven't ordered it yet. It's on my list of things I need to do. And I'm also going to make my own little sort of sentiment strip, because I foiled an entire sheet of the Grateful polyglaze when I was on Stamp Wars, and I wanted to use that, but I didn't want it to just say Grateful, which is what I did on Stamp Wars, but I'm going to stamp this So Very Grateful from the stamp set, and then I'm going to sort of make my own sentiment strip, which you can tell because it is absolutely not straight, but it works. It does what I need it to do. So then I'm going to do that, and then use the polyglaze that I've already done, and then glue everything together, and then that's pretty much the card. So the other sort of housekeeping thing I want to talk about is after Stamp Wars. Stamp Wars was my first ever live stream, which I've said a couple times now because I keep trying to bring this up and then getting distracted. But I am going to most likely start doing a lot more lives in 2026. I have not figured out what that looks like yet, so please, if you're not following me on Instagram, consider following me on Instagram. I post a lot of updates about channel stuff on Instagram, as well as photos and stuff, but I also really want to try to get better at using my community tab in 2026 here on YouTube, because honestly most of my community is on YouTube, and I should really be using that more than I am. So I need to get better about that so that you guys are getting updates here too, because like I said, all of a sudden I realized that I had posted all these updates about what was going on my channel and me like taking a break and all of that on Instagram, and I didn't post any of it on YouTube, and that was probably like not very smart of me. But like I said, I'll talk more about that. I'm working on another video now that'll go up in early January, and I mean, I'm not going to share details of what's been going on, but just sort of, it'll be similar to this and a little more detailed on like talking about plans and things for next year. So with doing Stamp Wars was a big, I don't know what the right word was, big special occasion, because I think that I really enjoyed doing Stamp Wars. I really enjoyed the live format. I had to upgrade some things in my studio to make Stamp Wars happen, and it's going to really enable me to actually start doing my own lives now. And I think that's something that we can look forward to in 2026, is me starting to do more lives. I haven't really figured out what that looks like for me. Like, is it a consistent schedule? Is it just sort of like pop-up random lives? Is it a combination of both? I know for sure it'll probably end up being, if I do end up getting behind on videos, I will probably do a live instead of posting an edited video for a week. But I don't know if that's going to mean like one specific day of the week is my time to do lives, or if it's going to be random. I don't know. That's all the stuff I'm still kind of trying to figure out. So again, please follow me on Instagram, and like I said, I'm going to try to be better about posting in the community tab, and I'm probably going to have a couple like polls up and things over the next couple weeks as I try to sort of get really organized for what my channel is going to do in 2026, and try to get a feel out for like what works for me and what works for other people. It's obviously never going to be perfect, but at least I do better when I have a plan. So I would like to come up with at least some kind of plan. This I'll back to the card really quick. I really, really wish I would have done one of the leaves for the sunflower. I didn't think I'd need it, but looking back on it, I wish I had done it, and I would have just stuck it on the top corner. So if you make this card, I recommend doing one of the leaves and adding that to the top, because you can't really add it to the bottom because it would distract from the words, but if you added it to the top. But then I was like, with how small the background is, you don't see much of the background, so so anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching Stamp Wars. If you watched it live or if you catch it on the replay, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you're a new subscriber, welcome, and I'm really glad you're here and that we get to share all these fun cards and creative ideas, hopefully, throughout 2026. I will be back, like I said, early January is my thought, possibly the end of December, so keep an eye out for some stuff in the community tab and on Instagram for that. And I'm really excited I had this opportunity, and I'm really glad I get to share this video with you, and yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I will see you again soon, and have a crafty day.